Have you ever watched an episode and felt like something was wrong, but you couldn't explain why? That's exactly what happened to me while watching the season 3 premiere of Silo. At first glance, it feels like a slow character-driven opening. But the deeper I looked, the more it felt like every scene was quietly hiding something. Not through action, but through what the episode chooses not to say. So today, we're opening another case. This isn't a recap. It's an investigation. We're going to examine the evidence, connect the clues, and ask one question. What is this episode really trying to tell us? Early in the episode, Juliette wakes up confused. She's told she's safe. It's a simple line. Reassuring. Comforting. But listen carefully. Nobody explains where she is. Nobody explains how she got there. Everyone expects her to simply accept the answer. That's interesting. Because when someone truly wants to help you, they answer your questions. But when someone wants you to stop asking questions, reassurance becomes much more useful than information. That small moment quietly introduces one of the biggest themes of this episode. Trust. Or more importantly, who deserves it? And that raises an even bigger question. If Juliette can't fully trust what she's being told, can she trust what she remembers? Because that's where the investigation truly begins. If trust is the first question, memory becomes the second. Throughout this episode, Juliette isn't just trying to understand where she is. She's trying to understand whether her own mind can still be trusted. Watch how the episode presents her perspective. Almost everything we experience is filtered through Juliette. That means our understanding is only as reliable as hers. And that's a dangerous position for the audience. Because once a story limits your perspective, it gains the power to shape your reality. There's another detail that quietly stands out. Nobody seems interested in proving anything. They don't show evidence. They don't explain events. Instead, they expect acceptance. That's a pattern. And patterns matter. Because this isn't the first time Silo has explored control. It has always suggested that information is carefully managed. Not always through force, but through uncertainty. If people don't know what's true, they become much easier to influence. Now ask yourself this. Why would someone choose uncertainty instead of simple lies? Because uncertainty is stronger. A lie can be exposed, but confusion can last forever. And that's exactly what this episode creates. Not certainty. Not answers. Confusion. Deliberate. Carefully constructed confusion. Which brings us to one of the most important discoveries in this episode. The existence of another Silo. At first, it feels like a simple reveal. But I don't think that's what it is. Because the moment another Silo exists, everything changes. Every rule we've accepted suddenly becomes questionable. If there are others, who built them? Who controls them? And most importantly, what else haven't we been allowed to see? Up until now, we've been looking at people. But what if the biggest clue in this episode isn't a person at all? What if it's a rule? One detail immediately caught my attention. The pact forbids digging beyond a certain point. At first, that sounds completely reasonable. Protect the structure. Prevent collapse. Keep everyone safe. End of story. Or is it? Because Silo has taught us something. Over and over again. Every important rule serves more than one purpose. Rules don't just protect people. Sometimes they protect secrets. So let's consider another possibility. What if this restriction has nothing to do with safety? What if it's there because someone doesn't want anyone discovering what lies beneath? It's only a hypothesis. But it's a hypothesis supported by a pattern. That Silo keeps repeating. Information is controlled. Curiosity is discouraged. Questions become dangerous. And eventually, people stop asking them. That's how control survives. Not by forcing obedience, but by making curiosity feel unnecessary. Now take one step back and look at the silo itself. It's massive. Layer after layer. Floor after floor. Thousands of people living their entire lives inside a single structure. Yet somehow, the walls don't feel like the real prison anymore. The real prison is certainty. The certainty that everything you've been told must be true. Because the moment people stop questioning, they stop searching. And when they stop searching, they become exactly what every system of control hopes they'll become. Comfortable. Predictable. Manageable. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's exactly what this episode wants us to notice. Which leaves us with one final question. If the truth has been carefully hidden, who benefits from keeping it that way? When we started this investigation, we were looking for answers. But somewhere along the way, the questions became far more interesting. This episode doesn't tell us who to trust. It asks whether trust itself has become a weapon. It doesn't prove that Juliette is being manipulated, but it gives us just enough evidence to question everything around her. And that's what makes this premiere so effective. It doesn't reveal the truth. It teaches us how easily the truth can be hidden. Not through lies, but through silence, through uncertainty, through carefully controlled information. The more I looked, the more one idea kept returning. Maybe the silo isn't just protecting people. Maybe it's protecting a story. And if that's true, then every unanswered question becomes part of the design. So here's my verdict. This wasn't just the beginning of a new season. It was the beginning of a new investigation. And I have a feeling we've only uncovered a small part of what's really happening. If you spotted a clue or noticed something I missed, leave it in the comments. Every new observation helps build the next case. And if you enjoy uncovering hidden details, breaking down visual storytelling, and investigating the mysteries behind your favorite shows, consider subscribing to Ghost Frame. Because this case is still open. Every frame hides a story. Keep looking closer. I'll see you in the next case.